Well, good morning. This is going to be a bit more unusual of a video. Well, maybe not. And I'll explain that after I get going here. The title of the video is A Beautiful but Corrupted Prison Planet. Earth remains beautiful, despite the machinations of devils and demons that have been and remain hell-bent on corrupting it. For most of humanity, life is a struggle to survive. I agree with Anastasia and Vladimir Megre that it was not intended to be that way. Life was not created for suffering. It was created for love, joy, and beauty. At least that's how I see it, and I will continue as long as I am able to remind everyone who and what we really are. We are slaves only as long as we resist the awakening. Yes, many are waking up to the reality that our human experience has been distorted. It's time to cast off the lies that we are less than children of the living God. We are not debtors. We are princes and princesses with unlimited potential. Wake up. I wrote that yesterday morning, and then in the mid-afternoon I got notified by my attorney that he was not going to. First he said he was going to take my case, then he conferred with the attorney of the bank, who filed a brand new lawsuit on the heels of the one that was filed over 10 years ago, filed one in 2014, and the bank had bought my house for $100. Yes, you heard me correctly. They bought a house for $100 that I had paid $275,000 for 10.5 years ago. Yeah. And November 30th, which is not very far from now, the first Monday after Thanksgiving, they have a motion to get permission to take my house, to evict me and my daughter and her husband and 3 grandchildren, put us out on the street. Now, you can imagine why I didn't get much sleep last night. I've already been to the gym. I've already exercised for my hour. And it's weighing heavily on my mind. I have less than 2 weeks. And the lawyer dragged his feet before he gave me the response he gave me. I mean, I've been dealing with him, what, a week and a half ago is when I first contacted him. And it took this long for him to give me an answer that he's not going to represent me, leaving me on my own. I was reading the Anastasia book yesterday, and Vladimir went through a phase where everything was falling into place, and he felt like he had lost his free will, like everything was pre-planned, and he wasn't the one planning it. And he went with a friend. He let a friend of his convince him, and I realize I have too many things opened. I need to close them. He had too many things. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought closing a couple of programs because I noticed it freezing up a little bit. Anyway, he let this friend say that, you know, you've lost your free will. Somebody else is planning your life for you. And so he went with this friend to an expensive bar to connect with prostitutes in Russia, of course. And then they realized, the other guy realized, that the prostitute that Vladimir was going to be with was less than honorable, and that her boyfriend was in the room and he liked to beat people up. And anyway, long story short, Anastasia showed up, and with the help of friends that she had made outside the place. She had all these women, one of them with the kind of machine gun they have in Russia, Kalashnikov or something like that. I forget. Kalashnikov, I don't remember. Something like that. And held these guys at bay that were going to beat up Vladimir. And of course, Anastasia first incapacitated them with her with her scream that was inaudible, but yet the ears could pick it up. It was quite a story. And she explained to Vladimir, no, Vladimir, you're getting into the place where you are able to create your own reality. And things are happening in your world because that's what you want to happen. Well, I want to say point blank, I don't want to lose my home. This home, like I've said in the past, never had a mortgage on it. The settlement of the bankruptcy that had gone on for 8 years, the bankruptcy of the plaintiff, which I wasn't the plaintiff, I was a defendant, that was settled in 2013. My home was secure. Banks are criminal operations. PNC Bank also a criminal operation. Lawyers work for criminal operations. Lawyers have allegiances to a foreign power. They have allegiances to a demonic force, actually, when you come right down to it. The 3 city-states that have controlled much of the world in the 20th and now 21st century, these city-states are demonic in nature. I think there might be signs of change in the Catholic Church, maybe. Maybe there might be signs of change in London. I don't know that that's true in Washington, D.C. There are a few honest and outspoken people, but they usually don't make it to the top because the system is still controlled by people like the Bushes, especially Daddy Bush and Granddaddy Bush, who's gone, but he was the one that started all this corruption under Roosevelt. So we have great potential. We have the potential to live on a paradise. In Russia, that's happening because Russia, like Edgar Cayce prophesied a long time ago, out of Russia comes the hope of the world. And other seers saw the same thing, that Russia would be the one that would offer hope to the world. It's not China. It's not the dragon family. It's Russia. Not BRICS. Russia is the one that's leading the way. And Anastasia, probably the most powerful, little grandmother said she's the most powerful person on the planet right now. I believe that. Even though it was 1994 when Vladimir met her. 1994. And here it is 21 years later. Their son must be 20 years old at this point in time. She's still around, I believe. Some people think it's fiction. They've tried to paint it as fiction. But even the ones that were trying to paint it as fiction acknowledged that she had abilities, apparently, that she wasn't human, that she had abilities far beyond what humans have. And she does, but it's what humans were created to be. Are we going to regain our standing as full human beings? Are we going to become princes and princesses? Is it going to happen around the world? Is the United States going to change? We all need to wake up. We all need to get our act together and to start focusing on what's really important. And what's really important is that man is redeemed and restored to the original intent of creation, which is to make him and her gods and goddesses, princes and princesses. Thank you for listening. Namaste.